Hi, good evening, everyone. I am Arun Sharma. I head the retail offline business at Wildcraft India Limited. We are an outdoor lifestyle firm that makes products for you to step out in the outdoors. Ranges from jackets to travel gear to travel cases to hiking and trekking footwear. So, very outdoor specialized products is what we cater to. So, I look at the offline business for them. Yeah.
Hi everyone, I'm Priya. I'm VP of Product at Meesho. So Meesho is a horizontal B2C e-commerce player. We compete with the likes of Amazon and Flipkart, and our moat is essentially serving value-priced products for the Bharat users of the country. I take care of all the product lines post-order for Meesho.
Hi guys, I'm Abhinav, the director and CEO at Brand Concepts. We are a fashion bags and accessories business, right from travel gear to small leather goods to women handbags, and we deal with brands like Tommy Hilfiger, Benetton, Aeropostale, and very a recent acquire is Juicy Couture for India. We have our stores by the name Bagline. We have about 50 stores across the country, and obviously present across all e-commerce as well as brick and mortar retail.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Shalabh Dhingra. I am here representing a brand called Madam, and which is from the house of Jain Amar, which is a 93-year-old family-run business based out of Ludhiana. We are currently available in 150 retail point of sales, which is exclusive stores, as well as close to 500 shop and shops and large format retail. And we have been there in this business for the good 27, 28 years selling Madam out of retail stores.
Hi, I'm Tushar this side, and we run multiple retail stores across North India. We cover almost 6 states, and we do majorly Western wear, and we do brands like Madame, Tommy Accessories, Lee Wrangler, and bunch of other brands, Arvind, Reliance, Myntra, most of the brands. And glad to be here.
Hi everyone, Amit this side from Ace Turtle, and we have brands like Lee, Wrangler, Toys R Us, BB's R Us, and Dockers. I work for the tech projects, and earlier we were also into Omni SaaS platform. Right now we do it, but it is only for the mainly for enterprise clients, and we also have our own in-house tech solutions for Omni, which initially was for the as a SaaS platform, but now the team is completely dedicated to our own in-house brands, captive brands. Yeah.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Shamok Chauhan. I am executive director for JW, representing JW Lifestyle, which is a menswear brand started by my father before 42 years. So brand started in 1981 from incepted in Ahmedabad. Right now we are having 40 stores of JW and 40 stores of another brand called Green Fiber. The Green Fiber brand presence is strictly to the Gujarat, but JW is having presence across Gujarat, Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, Telangana, all this, and we are absolutely into menswear. Basically, we are an MBO brand, multi-brand outlet, where we keep all the leading national brands and international brands. Plus, we have our private labels, and we believe to cater all man needs in terms of ethnic, formal, casual, athleisure. Everything is available at our stores. Store sizes are from 25 square feet to 18,000 square feet. This run is storage is this way. Thank you.
Hi everyone, good afternoon. I am Ketan from Modenik Lifestyle. We are a house of brands focused on essential wear. The brands that we have, one is Enamor, which is a leading lingerie brand. The other one is Dixie Scott, which is a men's mass innerwear brand, and we have a license with Levi's for men's bodywear and socks. We distribute our products across channels, online, offline. At Modenik, I had the modern trade and e-commerce business. Glad to be here.
Hello everyone, good afternoon. I'm Manisha Choraria. I'm from a brand called Technosport. We are a made in India, made for India brand, active wear brand, athleisure wear brand, present across B2B channels, retailers, online platforms, and we have our own website. And the USP of the brand is our price point and the performance technology which we provide at that price point. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Lavanya from Nalli Silk Sarees. It's a 100-year-old, almost 100-year-old brand. We have 45 plus stores, both in India and worldwide, all company-owned, company-operated. A strong e-commerce division as well, which I run. I worked outside for a few years, about 7 years. I was in the US. I was with McKinsey, I was with Myntra, and then I came back, started the e-commerce business about 7 years ago. And that's me.
Hi, this is Shahruz. I'm heading offline business for Meena Bazaar. You guys all know about this. The brand, which is 50 years old, we are having right now almost 70 stores into the bucket and expanding every month. We are adding up our store into the bucket. All our own Coco model, all the big malls you name, DLF, Mall of India, Phoenix, or Prestige. Every developer is connected with us. In every shopping center we have a store. So that's how we are, taking Meena Bazaar onto that level. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Lavanya. I head the business at Zivame. Zivame needs no introduction. We're fairly a young brand, just a little decade, more than decade old. Started as an online player, but today we are like truly omni-channel. Just to say, actually 50% of our revenue comes from online and 50% comes from offline. We are present across all channels, whether it is .com, marketplace. We have 175 Coco stores across India. We are there in top 50 cities. We have our store presence and obviously e-com presence across all India. We are looking at expansion through franchisee in the coming year, so that's a big move which we are going to take. And also getting into distribution is another lever what we are looking at this point of time. Very interesting times ahead, different problems, and I'm looking forward to hearing all the interactions, especially from people who have been in this place for more than so many years as what we had. Happy to be here. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Sathish, the Chief Digital and Creative Communications Officer and Head D2C for Brand Studio Lifestyle. Brand Studio Lifestyle is a tech-enabled house of fast fashion brands. We own brands like Highlander, Tokyo Talkies, Vishot, Locomotive, etc. We're some of the largest category leaders on platforms like Myntra and Flipkart. We have our own D2C platform called GetCatch.com. And in the last year, we have begun our offline journey with 25 stores pan-India. And for our brands Highlander and Tokyo Talkies, we probably, in terms of fast fashion volume shipped in the country, we may be among one of the largest because we ship around 80,000 units every single day across all our formats. And I'm very privileged to be in this August gathering and looking forward to learn from everyone. Thanks.
Thank you for the introduction, everyone. By the way, this roundtable is powered by ClickPost. I'll let Ankita take over from now.
Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us at this roundtable. The topic that we have selected today is something that is we understand that 2018-19 was an era of D2C. Everybody was talking about how do I launch online and everything, 18 to 20. And post that, it was about D2C brands trying offline and offline stores trying to have a lot of stores maybe online, in malls and everything. Now, people then started talking about omni-channel. How do we go omni-channel? I think now is the era that we are seeing that it's post omni-channel. Your customer preferences, your customer expectations have changed a lot. There are a few things that we have noticed as part of ClickPost, and because of these customer expectations, we have gathered everyone to understand how are you as brands tackling these particular things. Few things that we have noticed is that concept to customer, like whenever customer sees any concept, maybe online or anywhere, they would want that particular thing to be available as soon as possible. And it's not just quick commerce that I'm talking about, even on stores, they want it as soon as possible. They want to see that blue dress, that particular content, that particular dress that they have seen online immediately. Then is about convenience. I buy it online, I can return it anywhere in the world. So that kind of connectivity, that kind of convenience is what they are looking for. And the third thing we have noticed is regarding personalization. So brand really wants that you understand them, you suggest them the right things. So the kind of personalization, like anything and everything personalized to how they are shopping. So these are the three things that we have noticed, and we feel that brands have to develop to meet these particular expectations. But yes, all being said, it also boils down to your profitability. So it also matters that you have to ensure that these things are met, along with making sure that you are profitable around these things. So this is what the entire agenda, the entire topics of the discussion would be. I'll just let Naman quickly start the topic.
Yes, definitely, I'll do that. Hello, everyone. I'm Naman, co-founder and CEO of ClickPost. I have Prashant here, who's co-founder and CTO of ClickPost. We are a logistics intelligence platform we launched back in 2017. At that time, I remember there were not more than like 50, 60 companies doing e-commerce in India, right? So my initial target list of customers was basically 50 companies, and that's it. And people were saying, you're crazy to start a SaaS business for these companies, right? From then, we have seen market evolving like crazy. We've grown leaps and bounds as a country, as a consumption story of India, and as brands, all of us, right? So fast forward to today, we serve more than 300 enterprises in India. We power more than 15% of Indian e-commerce on a daily basis through our platform. So Meesho is a customer of ClickPost, Nykaa, Adidas, ABFRL, all of them have been ClickPost customers for quite a long time. Globally, we power Walmart in North America. We power Sotheby's, Oriflame, so some of the largest enterprises globally are also running on ClickPost. The entire concept being that we believe that it's the power of data which helps supply chain innovate, and supply chain innovations that truly drive step function outcomes, right? So all of us are running behind growth, and we are trying to grow as fast as possible. But if you look at historically in brands' history, it is supply chain innovations that have truly made a difference, right? So companies like Zara, case study in supply chain innovation, right? If you look at more recently in the past 5-7 years, I think you have the negative case studies as well, that Intel screwed up with their supply chain, and you see where they are and where Nvidia is, yesterday's share price notwithstanding. Supply chain innovations truly drive innovation. As Ankita mentioned, so Ankita has been leading fashion at ClickPost for the past 3 years. We've seen a lot of brands, as Ankita mentioned, initially the problem statements used to be about that, how do I run my online store, right? So I was talking earlier, and Meena Bazaar folks were that, it was a pain just selling online, especially fashion, because if you look back, let's say 5-6 years ago, it was a headache. Returns were not sorted. QC pickups were not there. There was a genuine question mark around whether fashion online will scale in India or not, right? That is why Myntra had to sell out to Flipkart, right? But then people like Meesho took a bet at the right time, and they scaled up like anything, right? But I think those questions got answered, right? So if I look back and correlate it with ClickPost history, 2019 and 20 was a time when people were coming up. Brands were just starting their online stores. We signed up with the likes of Puma, Adidas, ABFRL, all of them, helping them start on with their online journey, right? Fast forward to around 2022, and you had the offline story spreading very quickly, where every D2C brand wanted to go the other way and wanted to launch their own stores, right? And now I think it's a given that all of us will be present, and as Lavanya rightly put out, it's going to be a 50-50 or something like that of a split, where you have to be present online and offline. But here, like why this roundtable essentially, we also wanted to learn that where the ecosystem is going, right? All of us follow our customers. In the past few months, some of key themes that we have like noticed is, as Angra was speaking about, like the concept to customer cycle is reducing like anything, right? If I see something on a Netflix TV series, I want to buy it right now. If it is there on your online store, or if it is there on your offline store, I'll buy it in the next couple of weeks, else I'll forget about it, I'll see a new TV series and then I want that, right? So it is not about like 3 to 4 months, which used to be the regular fashion cycle previously. Now it is about weeks and days, right? So, and this gives way to not just quick commerce, but your offline supply chain also needs to be exceptionally fast, right? We are powering a project for Reliance Retail where they are reducing their end-to-end supply chain, the time spent in supply chain for product by more than 1/3, right? That's enormous change on a scale which like many of us can't even like imagine at this stage, right? So there's enormous amount of dollars that is going towards powering this change in customer behavior as a generation that has grown up with smartphones from like age of 10, 11 kind of starts buying online, right? So concept to customer being one theme. Second, what we have started noticing is that customers now purchase based on their relationship with a brand. Gone are the days when I would go out and say, I want to buy a t-shirt. Now I have a specific brand in mind or a group of brands in mind where I want to purchase something from them. And these relationships are not like, they're not like a childhood crush sort of where it's a one-way street relationship. I want these relationships to be a two-way street. I want the brand to recognize me at every point of time. I want that personalized experience that, hey, Naman, you are here. This is what you have purchased in the past few months. I want the same experience online, offline, at every single distribution point that I have with that brand. And I don't want to go to the brand. I want the brand to be where I am at, right? So your location of stores needs to be where your customers truly expect them to be, right? I remember that, so my father is a banker, right? And once I went and visited his office, it was in Janpat, Delhi, and he was opening a new ATM for ICICI Bank. And I was like, Dad, why there are 4 more ATMs around this? Card works with every single ATM, right? Person will get his money out of every single ATM. Why do you need to have your own bank's ATM over here, right? And he said, no, if it's an ICICI bank customer, I want them to take money out of ICICI Bank. I want that relationship to always be with me and not with anyone else. I don't want that relationship, in a brand's case, to be owned by a marketplace. I don't want that relationship to be owned by anyone else. But I want that customer to be with me, and I want to give such a personalized experience that they truly feel connected with me, right? So these are kind of 2 major themes that we want the discussion to kind of like rotate around, and I'll hand it over to Ankita to.
Thank you so much. I think we also have Neelam here. Hi. No problem. All right. So let's start with the discussion. We'll just divide our discussion into 3 parts. Let's first discuss about speed, time to deliver, whether it's online, whether it's offline, how you replenish your stocks, or how do you have your inventories moving across the stores, how do you deliver, are you seeing customers asking you for same day deliveries, next day deliveries, quick commerce and all. So we would want to understand on that part. So the first part of our discussion is around speed. So let's just start. Also would want to highlight that in case if anybody has any questions, or you would want to discuss anything, please feel free to do that. We don't want it to be something like we asking questions and like yes, exactly. We are here to learn. Exactly. So we have mics as well. Bani, if we can just make sure that there are sufficient. Okay, yeah, we have mics kept in between. Yeah, so actually we need mics for the recording bit, otherwise it will not get recorded. Sorry. So we'll need everyone to speak over mic itself. All right. So just to start with the like with the first part that is related to speed. So if anybody, like, if you're seeing the same day delivery or next day delivery related demands, if you could just help us understand that particular bit, how are you currently doing it? What was exactly the need that you saw? Priya, if we could start with you, since you are you're one of the marketplace product person, so would love to understand from you. Is this something that customers are asking, and how exactly is Meesho enabling it?
So I think when we are solving for India, what's important to understand is that at the end of the day, India is a very heterogeneous country, right? The users of the Bharat users are truly heterogeneous in their needs. They are very diverse, and not everyone is always looking for speed, right? So that is in fact the core insight on which Meesho is built, that there is a huge part of India, the Bharat, the tier 2, tier 3 users will always value price over convenience. Convenience here being speed, right? And for them, as long as the products are 10% lower than, let's say, DMart prices, they are willing to wait for products to reach them even 5-6 days later, because that makes like a huge amount of difference in their monthly budget. And hence, the way even in Meesho we are solving for this is we truly understand that users are different. And even on a dimension like speed, we'll have to personalize it. So for users who we believe are more price sensitive, but not as convenience sensitive, our business model is very different. We have a very delayed supply chain in which we care about the cost to serve being low, and we actually delay the deliveries to them because we optimize for economies of scale, we ensure that the trucks are fully filled, etc. Because we know that those users will wait, right? As long as the products are 10% cheaper than the next access that they are going to have. Also, we understand the other part of India, right, which definitely hyper-local has all opened up for us, right, which is essentially the users, the more metro tier 1, tier 2 users who are price insensitive but extremely convenience sensitive. And these are users that initially I think all of India thought, hey, the on-demand needs for them with the top-up purchases would be grocery, and we should start with grocery. But what they have ended up doing, what the hyper-local Zeptos of the world have ended up doing is their behavior shaped all the users, right? Now we are asking for categories we never knew we wanted soon, right? We want iPad in 10 minutes, we want like jockey in 10 minutes, and before we know, like they're kind of tapping into that unarticulated needs so well that pretty much every category you want it fast. Right? And this is a user who has the wallet to be able to pay for it. So as we also truly want to serve all the users of India, we are also figuring like what is this business model that we would have to do? How do we get into like same day, next day delivery? Same day, maybe not, but at least next day for certain categories and speed sensitive use cases. How do we modify our supply chain to also serve for these users and categories is something we are looking at.
Okay, awesome. Ketan, we would like to understand from you, like, how is this particular requirement of this customer that we want it quickly, especially in your online, how is it impacting the way your last mile delivery or the way your supply chain is planned?
So, quick commerce is the latest bandwagon that everybody's riding on. And much like how Priya mentioned, it's particularly concentrated on the metro tier 1, little bit of tier 2. This is happening in our women's lingerie segment, the brand Enamor that I spoke of. There we've seen the demand skyrocket. It's been just 3 months, and we are seeing, obviously we are expanding on the number of dark stores, super stores, pin code penetration, etc. What we were able to leverage is our offline presence of our own legacy, be it FBO distribution, be it our EBO distribution, or even a marketplace distribution, to plan for what inventory to keep in which dark store. There it's a land grab, right? The space is limited. Each brand is looking for a certain number of SKUs. So in order to be sharper and in order to be smart, we use that data. There was a latent demand already existing, and how we reached the Zeptos or the Blinkits of the world is they reaching out to us saying we are seeing huge number of searches for bras, we are seeing huge number of searches for panties, jockey is the only player out there, why don't you come over on board? And we just started off and we're seeing the demand skyrocketing. We're trying to build that capability even in our D2C today. Even on our D2C, we do roughly 60% delivery in 24 hours. But now that the delivery is happening in 10 minutes, how do you build that leg of capability for your own D2C, so that the customer gets similar experience and doesn't end up going to somebody who has that capability. That's the idea now. So I think everybody's going after, right? Even Amazon is going after it, Myntra is going after it. That's the need of the hour, and a segment like lingerie doing that, unthinkable, but yes, it is happening.
So it's kind of interesting that customer preference is also because of like how quickly can you get the product to them. I would also be interested in people who are running stores. Are you seeing any impact of this need for speed sort of from customers in the way that you replenish inventories in your store? Are you seeing any, so what we have heard from our customers is that offline sales are not as effective as they used to be at a particular point of time, because people just want everything then and there, and they're not ready to wait for like the next sale period to come in. And in general, like, how is your supply chain strategy for your stores evolving to serve the customers faster, if anyone can shed light on it?
Yeah, I'd like to come in here. In fact, I'll, offline, always traditionally, the fight of online with offline, the premise was that offline you always used to get the product then. You walked into the store, the product is there, you touch and feel, you pay the money, you have it then and there, instant, right? And when e-commerce came, you had to pay, you had to wait for 5 days, 7 days and all of that. So that instant gratification was never there. Now with quick commerce and all of this and Blinkits of the world happening, and you're starting to get a delivery in 10 minutes, so that's not where the difference is. You still get it in like 5 minutes when you go to the offline store, right? You would buy it and go out. But taking a step back, I would say that, shopping, if you decode actually shopping, it's two ways. One is experiential and the other is necessity based. Now, if everybody present in the room, if I say that, barring your essentials, you're not allowed to shop for 1 year, what is going to change in your life? Nothing. You have enough shirts, enough t-shirts, enough undergarments, everything, enough in your wardrobe. You still go out and shop. So this is not necessity based. This is experience. So, initially, Amazons of the world, Mintras of the world, they came, and the experience was, oh, you're getting a brilliant deal. Even if I don't get it right now, even if I don't need it right now, let me just go ahead and shop because I'm getting a great deal, right? Discounting started becoming a norm, and obviously the e-com players wanted to sort of get people habituated, get people hooked on to, and now I think there is a one or the other parcel coming into our homes almost every second day, right? But is offline today actually able to give that differentiated experience? So every offline retailer who's able to give that differentiated experience is the one which will sort of survive, right? Because consumer is coming for that experience. Blinkit today again is an experience that, and I hear people say that, oh, you know what? आपने चाय चढ़ाई और चाय पत्ती नहीं है और 8 मिनट में आ गई. So it's an experience again. You could plan the चाय पत्ती पहले आप जाते थे और एक हफ्ते की इन्वेंटरी लेकर आ जाते थे या महीने भर की शॉपिंग करके आ जाते थे. बस it's an experience कि यार मैंने अभी करा और अभी आया, right? Now it is very surprising and heartening to know that lingerie is selling on quick commerce. Though there's much to be desired on the quick commerce interface, still looks like a grocery store. So I don't know how to sell fashion over there. Said that, yes. So today we are giving that. So through all this last mile delivery or whatever, we enhancing that experience of the consumer, that you could and whether it is, so we, for example, in our case, we trying to experiment with a concept where you have to go for a birthday party, and in the evening you speak to your wife and she says, have you taken the gift? And you realize, oh, we've not bought the gift, and now where do I buy the gift? And I have to leave office, I have to pick her up, go to the party with a gift in my hand. So can we have a service where somebody calls and the gift is ready at the store and you just pick it up on the way? or it is delivered. Now this last mile or whatever, Blinkit and this again would be a brilliant problem solving or an experiential solving for that end consumer. So I think this is where the overall industry, whether it is online or whether it is offline, it's about solving and experience. So that's my 2 bit.
Hi. Yeah, hi. So my couple of thoughts on this. One is when we are discussing speed, I think the application is only on the digital side, and this is completely driven by the behavior of the consumer, and also if you like look at it in more details in terms of demography, in terms of the consumer who is actually shopping there, it's mostly the younger lot, the people who are digi savvy, and who have been purchasing mostly everything online nowadays. And of course, I'm not able to count beyond Gen Z, but there is a Gen Z and then there is Gen Alpha also now. So, and I think a couple of months ago there was one more announcement of one more generation coming in. So, so having said that, for us being a vertically integrated company, and it's a multi-channel model for us, you name any model today, we are doing that in our scheme of things. But the reality is that our audience is directly differentiated by the aging, by who is shopping online and who is shopping offline. For me, the good part is that the mother and the daughter still go to the store, but the daughter doesn't end up buying there. She would rather go back home, go at my D2C and still, make her own choice, instead of, despite of the parents telling them that don't, waste the resource, don't waste, but they will, at the end of the day, as a habit, they will order 5 pieces, they will order 9 pieces, 10 pieces, as much as the brand allows, and then they will choose, they will pick those pieces which they like, and they want that facility of faster return, faster turnaround from the brand, because that's how they've been brought up. This generation is such that they don't. It's a generation of reels. It's a generation of 3 second. After 3 seconds, you want to see something else. So for us, we have seen that journey. How the customer has evolved in terms of adoption with respect to technology. Only one point which I want to say here is quick commerce is, maybe I may be wrong, because I'm sitting in a closed room today, and maybe after 5 years I might just take back my words, but I still feel that fashion on a quick commerce portal looks a little difficult to me, because I've all in all been a fashion person. And but as I said, I may be wrong, because that generation might be wanting to buy that fashion there only. But speed in offline, yes, it is very important when it comes to the logistical play. What we have observed and learned actually from the digital side of business is that the faster you deliver, the lesser are your returns. So for us as a company which does almost like 14 to 15,000 units per day, it is very, very vital and essential for us to get our distribution of merchandise right. So there has been a lot of learning that has come our way in terms of following digital in bits and pieces, and in terms of technology also, we are one of the few companies which will keep doing stretched POCs, I would call it, with a lot of digital players and we are also as an organization very conscious about where we want to invest when it comes to technology, because we have tested almost everything in terms of technology that is available right now, but we have not put our hand into it. We have not tied up. We have not gone ahead with a lot of technologies, thinking that whether there is a use case, whether there is an adoption, because the reality is that technology is very expensive in India. As if the audience who's already been following RFID can clearly recall that 10 years ago, what would be the price that you pay for a tag, and what it has come down to now. So today we can always, as I said, sit here and say that yes, RFID is affordable for a big size company, because that helps you, streamline your entire logistical flow, and then you can back integrate and etc. But still, if you ask me, if there is a mid-sized player or a smaller brand, trying to, establish themselves, they would not be able to invest that kind of money in RFID because it takes a huge amount of money to build an entire infrastructure for RFID, from tunnels to tags to etc. And going back to your suppliers in China and telling them that you start tagging from your source, etc. So there's a lot of things in technology which are coming in, which are helping overall. But when it comes to speed, it is I think, just to sum it up, it's differentiated by the age of the consumer is what I feel.
So we need not go around in a circle. We can.
So we have seen data, how our conversion increases when you say a faster delivery. So we obviously started as a e-commerce platform. So we definitely see impact on conversion on our AOV if you show a faster delivery, right? This I'm talking about, say, about a 5, 7, 8-year-old data where it is established that faster definitely aapka product, it will kind of help whether you're selling wherever. I think so. Quick commerce coming in, speed is obviously getting much more established as one of the key features which the consumers are looking out for. Okay. But what I'm seeing more in consumer behavior is the brand fungibility actually increases. Okay. So let me take a number. So they are on quick commerce. Say Zivame is still not there on quick commerce. If I want to buy a bra, I will just buy 10 minutes में जो bra मिल रहा है वही खरीदेंगे. Like we always say कि नहीं है and all that kind of stuff. So like my mother-in-law has been always an MDH consumer. Okay, she always wants to buy garam masala of MDH. Okay, I'll say big basket में नहीं available है, not available है. Next garam masala आप catch खरीद लो. She says ठीक है catch खरीद लो. Like the thing is there, the argument is 10 मिनट में catch ही आएगा. आप catch ले रहे हो क्या? So, yes, it will hold because the consumer today is looking for immediate satisfaction. Okay, I'll tell you the difference between so we have 3 generations living in. My mother-in-law is much more planned. She believes on shopping. Probably Wednesday, Sasta Bazaar, we have to buy on that day. I'm like Saturday, I have time only on that day to buy, okay? My kids are like 10 minutes. 10 minutes में जो आएगा, 10 minutes Maggie आएगा तो Maggie बनाएंगे. I think so, like what you're telling about differentiation, the more and more Gen Z coming in, I feel speed will definitely play a much important role. I have seen in stores, आपके पास अभी size नहीं है, तो like they are like, we still push them saying we will get it delivered to your house. So there are customers who get converted there, but there are more customers who are willing to leave it and then say that I'll buy it probably the next time. So I feel speed is here to stay and the brands have to solve that for. Gone are the days where the brands could dictate how the consumer have to behave. I think so that those days are gone. Consumers, they need what they need, and I see that change happening from across all generations with all these conveniences coming in. I feel speed will be a major thing too, and it's for here to stay.
So Lavanya, completely aligned on that particular point that you mentioned, that if I don't see it on store right now, how much ever the store person tries to convince me that we'll get it delivered, we have it here, we have it there, we have it in this color, try this, try that, I will not buy because I had certain expectations in my mind and I want it right now. So how is Zivame doing it? Like, what about store-to-store movements? Like, how are you replenishing your stocks? Because you have so many sizes, so many colors, so many types of, SKUs. So we would want to understand, like, how are you managing these store replenishments?
See, I think so. Another thing is with a lot of focus on profitability, obviously getting your inventory right is one of the key levers. As much as you talk, supply chain is the backbone for getting everything right in the company, right? So obviously we focus on core sizes, in terms of just ensuring that the core sizes or the sizes which sell well for that store is definitely available. Does it mean I can get 100% right? I know for 100% I can't get right, especially in lingerie because it's a multi-size category where you have a band and a cup. and we want to ensure that we give her the right size. So there are at times when we obviously have a loss of sale. So the understanding of loss of sale report will actually tell you the opportunity what you have lost. So we actually do a review of loss of sale report instead of one is seeing what is selling more, wo to pata hi chalta, because that's anyway automated. The Replan will kind of take care of it. But what is not sold is a data which you never get into the system. How do you capture loss of sale and to ensure that you put that product, test it, and then then your auto replenishment will kind of take care from there. So that's how I view the data as a woman.
Interesting. Yeah.
Just to add on the point of a customer comes in, especially with the complexity of sizes and colors not being available, a very simple rudimentary solution that we put in about 8 months ago, a simple QR code in the store where if the customer doesn't find, you scan. Obviously not everyone ends up buying, but at least 4 out of 6 customers end up getting converted. They just go to your D2C. Obviously you offer them some incentive to say you didn't get it right now, I will offer you some incentive to buy it otherwise, and it gets delivered. We've seen conversions go up. A very, very simplistic solution, but it works.
Sorry guys, I need to leave. I have another session.
Okay.
So I'll see you guys around. Yeah. All right.
Thank
Please
you.
continue.
I think that was quite a revelation when I heard that people buying lingerie and undergarments online and switching brands just for the quick 10-minute delivery. I had a different opinion before, but I think some were getting changed hearing that from you guys. So we are a brand which is heavily into the offline business, while we do online as well, and it's growing. We aim to grow it bigger, but still heavily towards the offline. What we felt so far is, I think speed is more of a want than a need in many of the categories. While essentials, I agree. Medicines, I agree. Again, could be wrong. Obviously, there will be conflicting thoughts. But to some extent, I agree that it is something that you can't compromise on if you have to grow, because again, the Gen Z coming into the picture, having more deciding power on purchases across the categories, not just related to them. But still, I feel somewhere it's very category specific. I still don't believe category agnostic speed is something that is you cannot compromise on. We've seen that in our business specifically. So I think 5% of our cases would be the ones where people expect it to be coming to them the next day. But I think 95% people still are willing to wait because of the brand loyalty that they hold. So we are not a mass player. We are into a category of outdoors, which is very limited, very niche. Not too many players in the country do outdoor exclusive portfolio across ranging between clothing to footwear to travel to backpacks, barring one or two. So we've seen people, yes, coming to our stores, placing orders for products saying, "Hum kal trek pe ja rahe hain. Can it reach me tomorrow morning?" Yes, happens. But I think more often than not, about 90% of the people would still be willing to wait for a 2 to 4 day window that we take to deliver our product to them. So I think that's where I feel personally, I think it plays an important role depending on the category that you are in. I still don't believe that it's category agnostic, that speed is something that you cannot grow without. We still feel, I think the experience, the brand, the quality of the product that can still demand a bit more time for delivery, if not completely. And I think I'll just add one more point, which I think I personally believe a lot in. While we said concepts, we said personalization. I think one big advantage that offline still holds, wherein it can command a slightly more delivery timeline, is exclusivity. Because people buy online for sheer convenience, for ease of purchase. Sitting there in your house, you can have an exchange done. But somebody who walks into a store puts in that effort to drive down to your store, to probably even travel kilometers at times. So when they walk into a store, apart from the experience that they expect, people explaining to them the products, etc., I think what we've realized over the last few years is the exclusive offering in a retail store plays a very important role for people to actually become loyal to you and not value or not give importance to that speed of delivery over the product that they're getting, even if that means 2 additional days of wait at home. A rucksack, if you're planning a trek, you normally say, so if you go for a trek, you normally plan at least a month in advance. You don't get up and go for a trek tomorrow. So when people plan it in advance, they're willing to wait. Similarly, some other categories. So nobody needs a sports shoe within 10 minutes to start running. Obviously, if you're ordering a sports shoe, you can wait for 2 days. You don't need it in the next 10 minutes. Again, like I said, I might be wrong in many of the cases because it was a revelation that laundry is required in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I always thought it can wait because I can I could buy socks probably, which is a low involvement product, but I always thought the high involvement products will always probably need time, but I'm sure. I think that's changing is what even I am learning today. But I think that those are 2 points. I think it's a very it's not category agnostic to me. Again, my personal thought still. And I think exclusivity of offering at offline or in your exclusive brand space, be it even your .com or your online space, I think that also plays an equally important role along with speed to me. I think that's something which we should not probably put to a side in order to become faster.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think an interesting point over there regarding the exclusivity bit as well, right? So a customer feeling that, hey, like this is the product I want. They have an emotional relationship with the exact product they want, and they're willing to like take more pains for that particular product. I think would like to ask a question to Lavanya, Nali Silk. So it's a very emotional purchase, right? Like I know that my mother, when she first went to Chennai, she had a Nalli Silk store on a visit list, right? She wanted to go there and just like see the products, right? How are you focusing on building relationships with your customers in a world where we see, like as Lavanya from Zivame pointed out, that brands are becoming fungible, right? It's so that the threshold for creating that relationship is increasing every day. How are you focusing on building relationships both online and offline?
So on that, I think a little bit of what Arun had said earlier. And so I'll attack it a couple of different ways, right? It comes down to the category. It also comes down to the consumer. So if you look at us, we're all consumers as well. I may shop at a certain store for certain needs and then a different store for different other needs, right? Like if it is a considered purchase, then I may, whatever, like maybe, let's just say groceries. I may want to go to Nature's Basket, right? Food hall when used to be there. Like there are certain things that I can only get at food hall, I can't get anywhere else. But if I'm running out of something and I want something immediate, right? I really don't care. I can get it in my local, like whatever is the nearest store. I can get it on Swiggy, sort of Instamart. I can get it on any of these platforms. So sometimes the consumer also has different need states, and that drives what they are seeking, and that also drives all of these other convenience factors. If I'm shopping for a wedding in the family, I may be willing to wait, right? Or if I'm very attached to a particular vision of a product that I want. The example, I think Lavanya spoke about iPad. Sure, but if I said that, listen, you can get an iPad in 10 minutes, or you can get an iPad tomorrow, but I'll give you a Samsung today, the customer will probably say, I'll wait. Right? So there are certain need states and certain places that they don't want to compromise in. And I think the convenience factor and all of that sort of ties down to that. How do you build a relationship with the consumer? First, understand that your consumer is not a monolith, right? Like you have very different types of consumers. Your consumer, even in one particular consumer persona, that consumer is a multidimensional person. And for us as brands is to also have that focus, vision, ambition, all of that, to say, okay, what part of her life do I want to be engaged with this consumer about? Who is the consumer, who's not the consumer? And then, like what aspect of her need states is it that I find an overlap with? So in our case, like for the wedding customer, that's a persona, that's a type that we're very, very strong. For the consumer who kind of like buys saris on a fairly regular basis, loves saris, doesn't really matter. It's not really occasion driven. It's not really wedding driven. For them also, we find that we end up being a beloved brand. You can leave that here. For the consumer who's extremely discount driven or convenience is a iffy word, but discount driven, we're very clear to say that that's not our consumer. See, sometimes I think we also need to have that focus to say that yes, you can grow. You can grow that much more by making these kinds of changes to your business model, but it comes at what cost? Right? So yeah, I think before you even talk about relationships with your consumer, I think it also starts with sometimes brands don't have that focus, or they slowly start to lose focus, right? Because the industry moves so much, there's growth coming from other quarters, right? That temptation is really quite strong. So you look at it and then you keep your eye on that price and then you think, but why not? Why can't I grow? Why can't I do? And then slowly you start to forget that, yes, but there were certain tenets that brought your brand to what it is today. There's a reason why you have a very, very high repeat purchase. There's a reason why, like our online platform, consumers buy like a single sari of like 50,000, 60,000 rupees just in the blink of the eye. We don't do cash on delivery. We don't allow returns, by the way, right? Like you'll have to physically go to a store within 7 days and make a return. And we're very clear to say that, look, we don't want the other consumer, because we've seen all kinds of rubbish when it comes to returns, right? People will buy it, they'll send you back a towel, like all kinds of, like, and we've just taken that call to say we don't want that consumer. What's the compromise? I lose out on growth. I lose out on that kind of exponential sort of like growth. But in certain businesses, they're okay. They're okay with that 5%, 10% of consumers will always be like that. It's fine, right? Let's build the supply chain for it. And then there are other brands that basically say, no, it's the cost to serve that consumer is just like, it's going to cripple my entire business model. I would rather not. Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of it also depends, and I think I foresee that this is quick commerce is more behavioral, really. I think it will, right now, I think one of the reasons why a lot of us haven't adopted to it is simply because we haven't figured out the complexities of it, right? Whether you, especially in fashion, when you have maybe 25,000 styles into 5 sizes across categories, then what do you stock where? That's a real challenge. Obviously, in my mind, I'm always thinking that only core products can. But if I myself look at some of the things that I buy on quick commerce, it started off only with like Maggie or something, but from belt or any kind of a thing, and suddenly I realized that quick commerce means I don't have to have mind space to remember things that I want, right? So with the generation that's Gen Z or Gen Alpha, I think with the mobile as an extension of their brains and hands, I think over a period of time it will be the first point of call for anything. The moment the discoverability of products becomes very, very simplified, I don't think because it is very instant gratification led, like we began with, it is very short attention span led. Now, if I really want that generation to come to a store, I have to make it worth their while in so many different ways, right? It is not just the product availability in store or the fact that you can try it out, or because these are, I think, minimal incentives for customers. There has to be something a lot more for customers to want to come in store and buy. So if you are able to, I think over a period of time, what's really going to happen is this mesh not between slow commerce and physical retail, but between quick commerce and physical retail is going to be the way the future will, because the physical stores will also become your dark stores, will enable you to carry that width and assortment, and at the same time it's going to be able to support somebody who feels incentivized to shop offline. But I think it will be more the norm than the exception that it is now.
Sati, just a quick question on what you have mentioned. So I think whenever we say speed of speed of delivery or speed of reaching out to customers, the first thing that came to everybody's mind was quick commerce. Whether quick commerce is for their category, for their business, which kind of categories are growing well, what kind of SKUs are going into quick commerce. We would also want to understand that even in retail, are you looking at a demand where people want newer designs to be delivered quickly? So do you face that challenge of, from your vendors to your stores, it should reach faster? Would want to understand that part as well. So do you see these challenges over there as well?
Right. Of course, that is a given, because many times what happens in offline, and especially today, is you're reaching your consumer not through traditional advertising, you're reaching them through the digital means, which is primarily your social content, which you are pushing a brand narrative, right, where you're talking about your collections, you're talking about your trends, you're talking about your products. So when the products that you're talking about on social, or as an influencer is promoting a product of yours, it's not necessarily that they are looking for it online. The customer then comes to the store and says, I saw this on your socials, where is that product, right? So for us, that's a very critical challenge. So There is a curation of content. We take a lot of care to push so that we have merchandise which is available offline that we're pushing, because in any case it's going to be available online. So the priority we take in that form of content is that merchandise which is available offline. And then we now, or rather since inception for our offline stores, our stores are only about 6 months old, is that we have ensured that we have weekly deliveries in store. So we, be it a replenishment or a replacement of merchandise in store, it goes weekly. So customers are able to find those products very quickly in store.
Anyone else would want to add on this part?
So, what I can connect today with all, like, Arun, Lavanya. So, I also not fond of this e-commerce, online and all quick commerce kind of a thing. But yes, one thing is very important, which has come up today, is mapping your category with the speed, or speed with the category. Maybe what we can do, like, for Meena Bazaar, basically what we are evaluating right now is having a gift packaging for the quick commerce, just for on a Karva Chauth or on Raksha Bandhan, where customers need things in a very quick way. So we'll get a packaging out done for in a very loose size where returns are not going to be happen. So this is something which is an add-on that I can give to this discussion. Secondly, the offline will going to be stay. It will not going anywhere. Whatever you say, online will going to be boom, or whatever you say. The touch and feel factor will always be there. At the end of the day, we all are humans and not robot, and we need that touch and feel factor. We need that emotions connected with that brand, with that stores. I really see people coming out from Punjab, Lucknow to our Karol Bagh stores to buy lehenga or these sarees and all. So people have that connect, that emotional connect with the brand. So how can you capitalize that thing, or how can you improve as well onto that part is something which is very important.
Great.
Hi, probably I'm the most misfit person sitting in this panel, because 97% of my sale comes from offline, probably just 3% comes from online, and since we have not so focused so much on that. But see, I tell you one thing, I keep coming to IFF past almost 20 years, I would say. And one thing I've discovered is that everyone has their own truth. You just have to find your own truth. Probably what is probably right for you, or right for her, or right for some company may not be right for me. So I have to know my consumer very well. If you know your consumer very well, and if you can cater his needs, I can say his because I'm into menswear only. So if I'm getting my customers' needs, I'm more than satisfied. And why I still believe that our loyalty percentage is almost 85 to 90% loyalty ratio. And we have newcomers as well, new entrants as well. And those who once come to JW, they are definitely going to come back for the experience we are providing. I tell you, I've been to most of all the 5 stars in probably India. This is the example because I have faced this example. I am the live witness of it. I guess, okay, in 5 stars, there are certain levels you expect from probably all the 5 stars. But I keep giving this example to almost everyone, to my team as well, because this is what I believe, that service is the most important thing in my industry. Okay, product is definitely that. Product has to be top notch, but today in today's world, everyone is selling probably one of the best products they make possible. But the service and the experience you are giving to your consumer, that's the most important thing. So today I go to all the 5 stars, but the treatment I get at the Oberoi's, probably that is unmatched. I cannot get that kind of treatment in any other properties. So this is what I've learned, that what is my uniqueness, what is my unique point of JW. Shopping at JW is like experience and that personalized touch. So almost my every salesman, or I would say fashion consultant, we have stopped calling them salesmen, they are fashion consultant. So most of my consumers, they come to my store not with any particular mindset that I want to buy this or I want to buy this brand. I want to buy clothes. So I'm going to JW. And those visits are not sudden visits. They're always planned visits. Because they were pretty sure that we are going to spend at least an hour and a half at our store. than only, purchasing everything from all the categories and, fulfilling their needs, and they will go back. So, and almost all consumers are having the name of the salesperson in the head, that I want to meet this guy and I want to be attended by him only. So this is something, a human touch, what is said rightly, that cannot be taken away. Very important thing is human touch. Okay, now everything is available at home. Okay, why should I go to movie theaters to watch movie? I don't need to go to see Pushpa 2 in theaters. It's so 3-4 hours waste of time. I'll wait for I'll wait for 2 or 3 months. It will be releasing on Prime Video very soon. No problem. Okay, why should I go to a restaurant? Let's have pizza at home. If you're getting everything at home, then what is the point? Why? I mean, then is you start feeling home like a jail only, because you're not experiencing anything new. So you have to step out. That's what I believe, actually.
What we all experienced
Yes.
Corona. People are like, after Corona, see the boom how the retail industry got after this thing. People are going out.
But the one thing is very important, that today young generation, what about people in their 80s and 20s, they prefer not to go step out much, because they have seen that Corona timing in that at their home, and they were so confined in their comfort zone. But okay, if I'm getting everything at my home, I'll be very happy sitting, eating popcorn and watching movie, Netflix, binge watching, and I'll just sleep. So like that.
I wanted to add on something to what you said about the salesperson.
Yes.
And I think it ties back to the point that we were talking about, right? Like, how do you really form that very deep connect with the consumer? And interestingly, because we do a decent quantum of sales online as well, but it's completely it's Nalli.com, it's our own website, it's like we built it in-house, all of that. The offline customer, what we've seen is, and it goes to that point, the very high value repeat customer a lot of times has a connection with the salesperson, right? The store has a warmth, a feel and everything, but the salesperson is also part of that. So I'll give you an example. Like, we've got a couple of customers that I know, like I know them, they come to the Chennai store. This lady will go, she'll go to the counter. Even if another salesperson comes, she'll literally tell him, listen, I want you to go and get me money, sir, because he knows what I like. That gentleman will come. I witnessed this personally. And he'll say, listen, stop showing her all this nonsense. She doesn't like this. He will literally behave like a personal shopper and he'll say, she doesn't like this. He will even tell her something like, you have a green salesperson who will come and say, oh, get this. It's like mushroom, 3,000 rupees per. And she'll look at him like 3,000 rupees per meter for a blouse. And he'll come and he'll say, madam doesn't like all of this. I know what she likes, right? And he will sell her something which is lesser price, but he protects that customer's interest. I've seen salespeople who've done this. It's happened multiple times. When I'm there at the store, he'll try to convert a customer or whatever. A customer comes in, listen, I've got a puja tomorrow, but I have to wear this thing because all the kids are doing some theme and I have to wear some color sari, and now all the kids wanted to be like this because they're going to take pictures on social media. These are sort of requirements that I didn't think that I would have. Yeah, but that's what they want. He will go, he'll try and find, and then finicky customer, right? I've seen him where he's like, listen, here, have a cup of coffee, have a filter coffee, sit down. He'll literally give her the Hindu newspaper in her hand, he'll get her a filter coffee. He'll come back in 20 minutes with a bag from Tulsi or Sundari Silks, right? And the idea is that consumer feels, he genuinely will solve my problem. He doesn't care about making today's sale. But he knows that I am not willing to compromise, and he knows what my standards of quality are. He knows what my budget is also, right? Like, people don't like to say it, but they are budget conscious, even across strata. So that very, very deep insight of the consumer, see, some of these things can be enabled and aided by consumer insights, research and qualitative studies and things like that. But at the end of the day, it is a human connection. Now, how can that be replicated in the online world? I'm optimistic. I feel it could eventually, maybe not today, but maybe there is a version, right? Like, because there's so much data that you're able to mine, and you're able to, and the exponential advancements in computation, right, in terms of how AI is able to sort of pick up and learn and self-learn. I do think that there could be a version of the world where people are treated with the exact same experience online. Today it's not there. Today it's not a discovery-based platform. There is, but it's in a very like there's a search bar, or they give you certain feeds, and then the feed is not exactly what you want. It's not perfect. Versus if you go to the store, I don't care that you have 20,000 pieces in your store. I go to a customer, listen, I want this, I want this, I want this, something like this. He kind of gives you a few. He sees what you pick. I'm going to show you 10 pieces. Out of these 10, you pick these 3. Okay, another 10 pieces. Out of those 10, you pick these 2. He does pattern recognition. Cool. I've seen that you picked out of 20, you picked these 5. I get what she's looking for. She doesn't like this contrast color. She doesn't like loud colors. She doesn't like this. Right? This is what she's looking for. So he's able to translate words into something that is very, very deeply intrinsic at a product level. And then he's like, you don't need to know the 10,000 pieces. I will bring that out and I will enable that discoverability for you. So there will be a time, I think, in the future that online could catch up with this. When that happens, the customer's experience is really going to go up. But the human touch, the warmth, and that feeling of there is a human being on the other side who gets me, I don't know. I think the jury's out on that.
Interesting point. So, Lavanya, actually, this was the topic of our second discussion. So we wanted to touch upon speed, and then we wanted to touch upon experience. How do you build brand loyalty through experience, whether it's online or whether it's in store? So I think you both have touched upon the in-store customer experience, how there is a specific salesperson, how your salespeople are actually driving that loyalty by supporting the customer, by making sure that they are seeing what they want to see. Would want to understand from the online folks, Neelam and Manisha, if you could help us understand, in online, are you able to leverage data to basically tell customers or basically suggest customers what they need based on maybe their past purchases or based on their store purchases? Is there something that we are already seeing online as well? Like Lavanya mentioned that, it's difficult online, but it's still possible. So are you guys doing it? If any one of you could just help us understand.
So yeah, definitely. We have a data-backed system wherein we know what is working or not, what is working in South and what is working in East, right? But at the same time, I'm able to replicate it on a large mass manner. Can I do it through minimal dark stores? Can I do it region-wise? That's still a challenge for us. What is another challenge there is there's an inventory holding stock. Cost that is there for me. I'm okay to do that on a region basis, but to do it within dark store, within sectors, within maybe pin code level, that becomes an issue. And that's how, I would want being a fast fashion brand, I would want that all my catalog is exposed everywhere. But at the same time, this becomes a challenge because I can only send my core styles in regions, not in the clusters. So I'm okay to do it within north, south, east region wise, but pin code wise, it's still a challenge for us right now.
Hi, I'd like to start that with the note that I like everything at the comfort of my home personally. I like Netflix binging. I like ordering things. I like ordering food rather than going to the restaurant. So I think with the whole mindset change, taking a step back from the experience part, it's very, very important that we understand that how the consumer psyche and the mindset is changing over the years. Right now, we might not be feeling that, it's very important because we don't see luxury as a category, fashion and lifestyle as a category to be something to be taken as to be quickly delivered or maybe delivered in minutes or hours. But I think that's something which is going to come up really, really fast within all of us lives, because I'll give you a small example of something which I do in my day-to-day life, which my husband does. And we consider ourselves to be somebody who really kind of go by the whole new generational change of buying behavior, how you spend money, how you look at brands and ethos and everything. So my husband was considering to buy a watch, a smart watch, and he was looking at Garmin as one of the options, and the other option was Samsung because we have a whole ecosystem of Samsung at home. His phone is Samsung. Now, given the price point, I think today we might not think that, our decision could be based on quick delivery or getting it immediately. So I was looking at a particular model of Samsung, but my first preference was Garmin, given that garment store in HSR actually did not have that model which we wanted, and they said that they'll take 2 days to get that. Our second option was Samsung, and then I quickly called up 3-4 Samsung stores just to check which store has that watch immediately available for me to go and pick up. So I think more than online and offline, the decision for me was where I can get it immediately. So I think the whole mindset now is changing given the competition you have in the market. For example, today if I want, coming back to the fashion, I want a green kurta to wear to go in a mehendi, let's say. Now I'll have green, I think, kurta in many brands. And given that we are brand loyalist, I think that also is somewhere, there are many people who are brand loyalist. But I think given that the competition you have in the market today, everybody is kind of reaching out and having the accessibility to weigh their options is become a problem for brands to compete and survive and retain that loyalty, which is also very expensive. So I think people have that option. Now the second option for me, which gives me like from a very consumer point of view mindset, I would go and pick up the green kurta wherein I'm getting the kurta fastest. Because I needed a green kurta. I liked 4 kurtas a lot from 4 different brands. I just go and pick up simply my next decision making point is whether the speed, where I'm getting the kurta the fastest. That's a very simple thing which we do today. Not only in kurtas, I'll say fashion, like I said, consumer electronics, of course, medicine, pharmaceuticals is there, which is a necessity today. I mean, if you get it immediately, that's what you want. But in fashion as well, we work for so I work for House of Anita Dongre. They have a luxury label called Anita Dongre itself. And the price point kind of starts from 30,000 goes up to 15 lakhs for the garments. Now, we never thought, when I joined this company, we never thought that getting that lehenga for 3 lakhs, 5 lakhs will become a requirement for somebody to get it immediately, or a decision-making thing, right? I think the first change we did in e-commerce was, wherein we were seeing a lot of loss of sales, was that everything was made to order. Most of the things were with a span of 3 to 5 days of delivery, 7 days of delivery. The moment we introduced a very small change, which was ready to ship in the brand, especially a luxury brand, and actually our 50% of our base is in US, customer base. Our sales shot up by 25% on e-commerce itself by introducing that category, and where the category's contribution was 25% to the sale went up to 85% today. It's at 85%. Everything on e-com. Now e-com is focused on ready to ship, where made to order products have taken a back seat. And I understand that experience is a big thing, and especially coming from a luxury space, you can't beat the experience going into or walking into a Anita Dongre store versus buying it online. But we are trying our best to ensure that we give the same experience to the customer. And for us, the experience actually comes from how our stylist or the sales staff interacts with a customer. So, to bridge that gap, we have virtual stylist enablement. We have processes wherein a customer gets in touch with the virtual stylist. They get on a video call. They showcase the brand. We have fabric swatches where they can choose. We have a lot of personalization on the website itself to kind of, for a customer to maneuver through and choose and select the options exactly in the same manner how you do it in the store.
Like Lavanya mentioned.
Yeah, so I think these are the changes, and of course right now it seems very expensive in terms of getting in the technology with the amount of sale you do online, but it's very critical to kind of grow in this segment and actually establish yourselves, because I think the future is digital, and somewhere we'll all have to agree that we have to, whether we agree not agree, that whether it's a category to which is going to be into quick commerce, but I think this is going to be a very big decision making factor for a customer to choose your brand over others. So I think that's how I look at it, and I think this is one of the integrations which we are looking at in the next couple of months, wherein we want to do quick commerce for our customers. We are partnering with many marketplaces, channels, wherein we are able to deliver in hours, 3 hours, 30 minutes, given the hassle of return, of course, the cost which comes with it. But I think we don't want to lose on to those customers, and especially customers like me who want things quickly.
Neelam, I'll ask you a question out of curiosity. I'm curious to ask, do you try to speak to your customers and find out like the need behind wanting to have a lehenga worth 5 lakhs say,
Yeah.
immediately and not wanting to wait for it?
Yeah, I mean.
So what comes out of it? Because I am a little curious to know. Because
Yeah, so I'll tell you. So I'm very, I'm somebody who really looks at what a customer wants. That's how I run my business when it comes to online. And running the brands from Anita, Dongre till, and I don't know if you all know about Global Desi, then we have Grassroot. The customer segment is very, very different. So how you treat them, what is their requirement, kind of gets segmented, and that's how you focus on. So I was talking about House of Anita Dongre with the lehenga you were asking about, right?
Yeah.
So we have two segments in this customer segments in this entire business. One is people who are attending a wedding, and then there are people where the bride or the groom, jiski shaadi ho rahi hai.
Correct. Yeah.
So we have lehengas for every occasion. Somebody who's attending a mehendi, haldi, then the bride itself. Now you'll see a very, very interesting trend which we've seen is that a person who's getting married, of course, is planning their lehenga from 6 months in advance. So I get wedding lehenga orders for August wedding, November wedding now. So there's a whole process. We stay with the customer. We ensure we customize. These are VIP clients, of course, a lot of them. We ensure that they get everything on time, properly, as they want. Then there comes the second category wherein there are a lot many people who have to attend a wedding. They've suddenly got an invite and then they want to attend something. They obviously want a designer name to attend the wedding. And they have to have, let's say, they'll always have a color theme to wear or a theme to wear in a mehndi. Now these are the customers, 20 to 30% of the customers are these customers who are last minute buyers who have to attend these events and are not the actual, the bride or the groom or the mother of the bride or something like that. So people who are attending the weddings are the people who's like, I want this lehenga by tomorrow, I want this sari by in 2 days, can you send it to US? And that's where we actually win over our US store. So when you see a US store, of course, store has now opening multiple stores in US is not possible given the capital investment. You have one store, you have a limited space to keep your stock. Now my customer wants the lehenga in 2 days. Today I have the capability of deliver it. If they don't find it in the store, we are Omni. So the store kind of directs that order to our online channel. The customer can reach out directly to the online channel and we deliver it in 2 days. So these are the requirements which we get. So basically event based. Last minute gifting is a big category for us. Wherein people who want to give gifts, they suddenly come up and they say, I quickly want to give something to my mother-in-law, to my sister for some event, and then they buy it from us. And being in the luxury segment actually helps us because a lot of gifting happens because people want a value attached to what they are gifting. They just don't want something to maybe from Myntra or a brand which doesn't have that price tag to it.
Sure.
So one thing.
I still feel out of place hearing I don't know stuff
No,
like
I
that.
kind of resonate to your thought. The way you asked that question, I understand that the question that's there in my mind for her would be, being immediate competitors, of course, is that what percentage of that consumer are we talking about here? We are saying 5 lakh rupees lehenga, selling it online, and Indian consumer. Right now we are talking about India space.
Yeah, so I was coming from this
because see the reality is that anything which is traditional or coming from some legacy, any product that you sell in India, you can demand 10x to 20x the price in US. So 5 lakhs, if you convert it into dollars, it's like is nothing. So from that perspective, of course, I think Aruna would have kind of
at the time.
I think given the fact that today you don't have a lot of brands, and especially fashion brands and legacy brands like Anita Dongre in India doing or basically following this model of quick delivery or quick commerce. I think in the start of my conversation I said that today we don't have that consumer segment that huge. We still have that. Like I said, I know a lot of people who do that. It's still there. But it's not as huge as it's going to be in the future.
Yeah, it's growing.
I think it's about survival. Yeah.
It's also growing.
About survival, it's growing, and if we don't, even if let's say 100 customers who buy from my website within India, if I say that only 20 customers buy on quick commerce, and I don't want to cater it because just 20 acquire new customers who will come and buy, I don't want to lose on to that 20 people who are buying today, which potentially could move on to 80 in the next 3 years or 5 years. I want to be ahead of the competition. I want to provide the best experience possible for my customer. And for e-com especially speed is an experience. I think it's the most important experience we have to inculcate to
No, and when it comes to brand fungibility, like we were talking earlier, it means that newer brands can get discovered much faster because of quick.
Right.
So one gray area which I feel for online brands is the cancellation cost. We definitely know why people are returning because we are able to talk to them, but we don't know why people are cancelling orders. And we personally thought that maybe just to add a factor that you get your order by this date. I mean, not a quick delivery, but a faster delivery than other platform. We saw better improvement rates in our orders. The cancellations have decreased. So that is one factor which people don't talk about, but at least the cancellation costs improve.
So we have relevant data which shows that speed will actually impact your conversions. Just the last thing that we would want to touch upon is convenience for customers. I think we have touched upon it here and there, but would want to specifically talk about convenience for your customers. Like, for example, how many brands are there right now? I think all of you have online presence right now. You have offline stores as well. But how many of you have like something like a buy online, pick in store, buy online, return in store, or even if you're in the store, you can, place an order like Ketan mentioned, like you can just scan the QR code.
Show of hands,
yeah, if you could
buy
just
online, return in store. So in terms of the tech architecture, the Omni architecture, which I very closely work with Amit in one of our previous organizations, where he's still, is leading that process. When it comes to the architecture, yes, it is already there. But when you see the number of use cases, it is difficult to get that kind of results as against, as I said in the beginning also, the cost of technology today is still very high. As I understand it, looking at and talking to a lot of service providers, and the number of use cases that are committed on the table during a discussion, when it comes to practical implication, you will end up not getting the same kind of results. So how I look at it is, as I said, from a purely multi-channel, multi-brand kind of an play. Sorry, I lost my thought.
So what he's trying to say is basically that when the costs come down and others have invested into it, then he'll get into it.
Yeah. So yes, of course, that's how it is. So if you ask me about summarizing a few things here, so I have been one of the luckiest lot. The three people sitting here, I've worked with all the three of them, including Tushar and Amit, of course, as a colleague, and Shalabh as a again a customer. So I can always say that for a JetBlue or for a Nulli, it holds true that the in-store consumer experience cannot be replicated online. The biggest brand play is available at the store. Same for Capsons. The way we are working with them right now is that they have the technology, and they are leveraging that technology, and they are also outsourcing that technology to us. So they are our technology partners in terms of fulfillment. So we of course are working with a third-party tool, right? But we are going through them because they already have the infrastructure for it. So there, as a big player also in the market today, I feel that I can build all these things in-house at a later date. I always believe that CapEx is always better than OpEx. But the reality is that today the market is taking a certain shape. What I remember these forums 10 years ago, 10 to 15 years ago, we used to talk about e-commerce, and everybody said, you are offline. So the first contest that I would put across, or first, debate would be, I am not offline, I am mainstream, because at the time I had no e-commerce. And e-commerce and, the mainstream business were completely differentiated in terms of, and there was not too much of a brands trying to sell there, and they were, of course, they were likes of Pumas and some of the other brands, which Arun would also remember that at that time, yes, they were taking that space, but they considerably lost their market share offline because of that. So everybody tries to do the thing which is right for them. As Sambhav also said, that every brand here is unique, every category is unique,
And it will all depend on how and when you want to leverage the technology and when you want to step into that space. So that's how I would like to, sum it up from my side.
So I think we have a time check as well. Need to wrap up in the next couple of minutes. So just running a quick poll at the end of the session. So I saw like around 4 hands saying that they were offering buy online, return in store. So like the rest of us are not.
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay.
So, as I said,
I don't want to do it actually.
So architecturally it is available.
Mm-hmm.
So if we don't do it, we lose.
Yeah.
That's the reality. See, I have always been defending offline over online. I mean, I still call it offline myself sometimes. But yeah, that's the reality. It is not going anywhere. How I see it taking shape is that how when e-commerce and marketplaces started evolving and D2C play was at its peak, everybody was talking about it the same way everybody is talking about quick commerce today. So yes, there will be these channels that will exist. There will be a consumer cohort that will get created out of it. There will be a behavior in which will be dependent on demographics, because for a person who has come from a generation which is not digit savvy, they might also hop onto it as an opportunity or as a need. Mostly how I go to quick commerce for my need, not for my want. So I need it now, so I have to get it. So, but behaviors are changing. We are evolving. So the customer cohort that would get created at the end of the day is a mix of everything. So there will be a consumer on one side of the spectrum which will be maybe 99, 10, 100% offline, and then there will be a consumer which will be somewhere in the middle, say, okay, need is this and experience is this. So I will rather differentiate myself in terms of categories, in terms of what I wish to buy, and then there will always be a consumer which will say, okay, I am a tech forward consumer, so I don't need to go to any store to fulfill the same requirement can be fulfilled sitting at home.
Definitely.
There can be other aspect also, which I strongly feel. If we see the data from the Western counterparts to the Indian market, we see that BOPIS, which is basically is pretty popular there, and the basic reason for that is the last mile cost, the cost, and over there, if the customer doesn't really want to bond. The moment, I think it may be 3 to 5 years away from here, but it's going to happen as a kind of a trend once the cost rises over there. Earlier, everything you buy 100 rupee or 500, everything was coming free, but right now there is a threshold that unless that is there, or the customer needs to pay for it. So that is one bit on it. And the other part, whilst we were talking about size not being available, we have used it very successfully. Ideally, it has worked mostly for the footwear category, where it was a sale, where if the customer is pretty sure that what the customer wants, and it can be the customer is ready to wait, because that's the segment possibly. And the timeline could be the same day delivery from the nearest stores, and technologically all the real-time inventory is all available, and the order can also be placed at the same time within the store. It can reach the same day or maybe next day. So, and one more point I wanted to touch upon, which was basically on the recommendation bit, on the AI bit, where we actually have leveraged it. We are leveraging it, and it's working very well in terms of reading their past history, the purchase history of the customer, and basis that recommending whatever new is coming, which is falling into that price range, at the same time the consumer preference range. So our conversions have increased on those kind of campaigns here.
Just a last, again, a poll question. How many of us are using stores as dispatch centers as well? So basically, someone buys something online and you get it delivered from store. So I can see like less than 50% of folks. Yeah.
What we use is, we are only targeting the captive audience. In our case, we are saying that whatever is D2C or B2C rather, including EBOs and including the web shop. So whatever orders are between these two verticals, we are doing that, but not marketplace. Because marketplace, then you will have to go for marketplace Omni model, which has its own set of requirements, which I don't feel that there is even a need, because after having looked at it for some time, I don't think there is even a need to actually put that load onto the store person, because the stores are expensive spaces. You can't create a fulfillment center out of it unless you own the space yourself.
So we have seen it evolving. I think working with Aitabilda, Arvind, Puma, everyone at our end, we've also seen a lot of these things evolving. That you first start offering some of these functionalities, you go the other way around as well. That someone walks into a store, if that is not there, then you like get it delivered through your central warehouse and all. And I think a lot of these things will evolve. So the purpose of today's discussion was to actually get some of these conversations going amongst us as well, and to learn that what other brands are doing or what other companies are doing, right? So happy to keep the discussion flowing as we need to kind of like, I think, vacate the room as images people will be on us. But yeah, would love to share our learnings as well. Prashant is here. Prashant is the CTO of the company. He has implemented these projects with all of the large retailers around the country. Happy to keep the discussion flowing outside.